Some news that could impact the likes of Weston McKennie and Tyler Adams at the international level. We've talked about how the 2024 Copa America will take place in the United States and the U.S. will be involved. There's now a proposal for the 2025 Gold Cup to be an expanded 24-team tournament. It would be 16 from CONCACAF and then 2 each from CONMEBOL, UEFA, Africa, and Asia. It would take place across the 16 World Cup host cities, so it would be a dry rehearsal similar to what the Confederations Cup used to be. Your thoughts on this?
I mean, bigger is better, I guess. Not necessarily in all cases, but if you're going to get bigger, bring better quality. And I think that this absolutely does that. If you can hand pick it, if you will, making the Gold Cup bigger, but in doing so, bringing some of the best teams in the world and increasing, what is the problem with CONCACAF? The problem with CONCACAF is the 40-plus teams, the disparity between good and bad. It's a gulf when it comes to quality. And it's just the reality of the situation. Some very small, some very, let's be honest, poor relative to other teams in terms of the national teams. And it makes for oftentimes games with very little competition, especially for the big dogs in CONCACAF like the United States, Mexico, and Canada, and others. So this mitigates some of that and brings in better quality. And as we've talked about time and time again, especially leading up to 2026, the more quality games and the more quality competition that the U.S. can find and or create and manufacture is what we're talking about here, the better it is for the U.S.
Now, if you're a CONCACAF organizer, what would be your dream field? I was thinking about this. Obviously, the two CONMEBOL would be Brazil and Argentina.
Well, obviously, no. Venezuela and Bolivia.
The two UEFA, I would probably go with France and England as the tastiest teams to bring over.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with you. And I'm also looking at it from a business perspective and looking at it from a popularity perspective and a cachet perspective. Well, look, these are two wonderful teams. Yeah, I mean they would attract the most amount. They bring stars, they bring known stars, and they are better quality competition than the U.S. Would face against anybody from CONCACAF.
Africa for me would probably be Morocco and Senegal.
Okay, all right, I'll go with that.
And then Asia, maybe Japan and South Korea.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right.
You like that clip? Well, my State of the Union podcast drops every week. Subscribe now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.